You can feel it, can't you? The markets are definitely on edge, and it feels like pressure is coming from all sides. We've got huge Bitcoin sell-offs by the biggest players, a potential government shutdown breathing down our necks, and really confusing signals from the Fed. So let's break it all down and figure out what's really going on.
All right, here's the game plan. We're going to start with this weird split happening in crypto where the big fish and the small fish are doing opposite things. Then we'll dive into the political drama in Washington and the mixed messages we're getting from the Fed. After that, we'll connect the dots, see how it's all spilling over, and finish up with the weekly scorecard.
So let's kick things off with a fascinating and maybe a little worrying trend in the Bitcoin market. We're seeing this massive split between the biggest players and everyday investors. And, historically, this kind of thing is definitely worth paying close attention to. Check this out. It's a clear divide. The Bitcoin whales, we're talking the big money investors, they are selling. At the same time, smaller retail investors are doing the exact opposite. They see the prices drop and they're buying the dip. And we're not talking about a small amount here. The scale of this sell-off is pretty staggering. Since October 12th, these large investors have dumped around 32,500 Bitcoin. I mean, that's not just a little portfolio tweak. That's a major move that tells you something's up with the market's most influential players. So, just so we're all on the same page, when we say whale, what do we mean? Well, think of an account holding a ton of Bitcoin, anywhere from 10 to 10,000 coins. And because they're so huge, when they buy or sell, they can literally make waves across the entire market. Okay, so here's the key takeaway. History shows us time and again that the market price tends to follow the big money. So when the whales are selling while retail is buying, it can be a major warning signal. It basically suggests that the people with the most skin in the game are cashing out, while smaller investors are the ones taking on that risk. Now, as if that internal market stuff wasn't enough to deal with, it's all being cranked up to 11 by an external factor, the political pressure cooker that is Washington, D.C. right now. So if you had to nail down the one thing that's really got the wider market spooked, what would it be? Honestly, there's a lot to choose from, but one particular threat is just looming larger than everything else. And that fear, in 2 words, is political paralysis. The threat of another U.S. government shutdown is just creating this cloud of uncertainty. It makes investors nervous, it tightens up financial conditions, and it's just not good. Here's a quick snapshot of the stalemate. The Democrats proposed a 1-year funding deal to keep the lights on. That got shot down by Republicans almost instantly. And since then, nothing. The counterproposals have gone nowhere, and we're just stuck in total gridlock. And believe me, the market has taken this very seriously. Right now, prediction markets, where people bet real money on outcomes, are giving it a 58% chance that the government will shut down by November 16th. That's better than a coin flip, and it's keeping everybody on the edge of their seats. I love this quote because it perfectly captures the mood. The market is so incredibly sensitive right now that every single headline coming out of Washington feels like a jolt. There's no buffer. Every piece of news, good or bad, is causing an immediate, sharp reaction. So on top of all the political chaos, we've got yet another source of uncertainty coming from the Federal Reserve. The very people who are supposed to be steering the economy are sending completely conflicting messages, and it's just adding to the confusion. It's this classic split personality at the Fed. On one side, you have the hawks like Chairman Powell, who are talking tough, hinting that rates might need to stay high. But then you have the doves, like Governor Lisa Cook, who seem much more open to cutting rates soon. This kind of disagreement makes it pretty much impossible to guess what they're going to do next. So, let's put it all together. You've got crypto whales selling, Washington deadlocked, and the Fed sending mixed signals. What's the result? Well, it's a contagion of concern that's spreading way beyond just one asset or one market. And this is a really important point. The instability we're talking about isn't just a crypto thing. Not at all. This is a system-wide story of people getting scared and avoiding risk. All that anxiety is spilled right over into the traditional stock market, and we are seeing the impact everywhere. The evidence is pretty clear. Just look. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq have both dropped below their 50-day moving averages, which is a big technical red flag for traders. And this weakness is hitting the riskiest parts of the market the hardest. Meme stocks, recent IPOs, unprofitable tech, they're all taking a beating. I mean, look at these sectors. The ones that are really popular with retail investors, they're all down more than 10% from their recent highs. This screams risk-off sentiment.
It means that relentless buy everything attitude we saw before is fading fast as people start pulling back from their favorite high-risk bets.
Okay, so after a week like that, let's wrap this all up with a quick look at the weekly scorecard and see how the major assets actually managed to hold up through all this volatility.
Man, it was a real roller coaster. Bitcoin was all over the place, dipping down to test some important support levels before clawing back a bit. Ethereum had a negative week, but it did manage to find some buyers. Gold, the classic safe haven, actually squeaked out a small gain. And oil had a rough week, falling below that $60 mark.
And that really brings us to the big, looming question. With the crypto market flashing warning signs, politicians stuck in gridlock, and uncertainty just about everywhere else, the whole market feels like a line of dominoes. The only question left is, which one is going to be the next to fall?
If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss your next Daily Edge. More news in our Telegram channel in the first comment. See you next time!